Let me show you how I genuinely believe someone can go from zero to their first $100,000. So this is not overnight. This is not some TikTok fantasy. This is an actual sequence, all right? Because when you really break it down, most people are trying to start at step number 5 while they completely ignore step number 1. So step 1 is your profile. Everything starts here. Not the LLC, not the business, not the Instagram page, your profile. Because your profile determines whether or not banks are gonna trust you with capital. And capital changes everything. So let's say somebody has the right profile, clean credit, strong payment history, low utilization, the right account reporting. Now they're in a position to access funding. Not a high interest debt, not some crazy ass loan. I'm talking about business credit lines with promotional 0% interest periods. Think about that for a second. If somebody gets access to 50K or 100, and the cost of the capital is effectively 0 for the promotional period, that is a completely different game than trying to save that money from a paycheck. That is a leverage. And leverage is what speeds everything. Now, here's where most people mess up. They get access to capital and then they spend it. Wrong move. That's how you wreck your life. The money should be used to acquire skills, systems, assets, or opportunities that generates more money, because capital by itself doesn't change your life. What you do with it does. And let's say if I handed somebody $100,000 today and they had no plan, they would probably lose it. If I handed somebody 100K and they knew exactly how they deploy it into a proven model, that is a different story. And that is why I became such a big believer in learning from people who are already where you want to go. Not because they are smarter, because they already made the mistakes. They already know what works. They already know what doesn't. And they can compress years of trial and error into few months. And that is valuable. Now imagine somebody uses that capital to build a business. Maybe it is a short-term rental. Maybe it is another cash flow business. That specific vehicle is not the point. The point is now the money is producing more money. Now they have a cash flow. Now they have a proof. Now they have experience. And this is where things start stacking. Because once you've done something successfully, new opportunities appear. Now people want to know how you did it. Now people ask questions. Now people want guidance. And eventually, some people are willing to pay for access to what you've already learned. At the same time, those same people need resources. They need funding. They need connections. They need introductions. And every time that you help solve those problems, another income stream gets created. Do you see what is happening here? The business creates a cash flow. The experience creates credibility. And that credibility creates opportunities. And all of it started with one thing, the profile. And that is why I always tell people the profile matters more than they think, because the profile creates access. Access creates opportunities. Opportunities creates income. And most people are focused on making more money. The people moving the fastest are focused on creating more access, because once you have access, everything else gets easier. If you're watching this video right now and you've never taken your profile seriously, that is probably where you need to start. Not next month, not the next year, right now. Because everything else gets built on top of that foundation. Comment blueprint if this made sense to you. And if you want me to look at your profile personally and tell you exactly where you stand, hit the link below, book a call. Let's see what you're actually capable of.